Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now November 8th of 2023, and given that there's a lot of things happening between Disney, South Park Studios, Paramount Plus, and everything going on with the Daily Wire and themselves creating their own version of Snow White that is going to hold zero woke agendas, and it's really going to deliver by 2024. Now, given that there's also a lot of things happening with Rachel Zegler, we know that she is dealing with the upcoming The Hunger Games prequel, Songbirds and Snakes, which, by the way, is already projected to underperform at the box office via Lionsgate. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, the thing about South Park that I think established this so very well is that it's an accurate representation of what Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy are not only doing to Disney, but also to Lucasfilm as a whole, and it also really, shined a light on the overall flaws of what's going on within the Hollywood bubble as we know it today. Ranging from all the nonsense that the studios are pushing with race swapping and gender swapping that only devalues either popular pop culture characters or fan favorite franchises out there. Now that brings us to Rachel Zegler. Now we know that she is definitely one of the insufferable actresses out there, right up there with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Brie Larson, and even Amber Heard. We know that I think she's at least at the top level there. But what's interesting about Rachel Zegler has a lot to do with what's been going on behind closed doors between herself and her view about South Park and what they actually did via Paramount. Now, with Disney currently dealing with the fallout related to South Park Panderverse by South Park Studios and Paramount, one major development has to do with Rachel Zegler's view of South Park Panderverse as this all unfolds. Now, Mark Webb, the director of Snow White, went on to deliver the following. Now, first things first, as a director, I believe it's always important to remain close to your talents, one of them being Rachel, and she had expressed her concern to me before about the role. What she is offended about right now deeply is how those at Paramount chose to create an awful and flawed view of how the world works today in the film industry. She and I completely agreed that what was done by Paramount with their parody of including those of different genders and race into films and television was absolutely disgusting behavior, and one thing I can say is that Rachel is eager to sound off the alarm about their usage with this offensive parody. Once we figure out everything with SAG, Rachel does have an important and long overdue statement to make about studios like Paramount that have no remorse or feelings for others that may want a shot in the film industry. Rachel is a strong, independent woman, and I, as a director of Snow White, had the time of my life working with her. Did we have our differences in the beginning? Sure, of course, but we worked that out. What Rachel does not approve of are studios like Paramount enabling individuals to go against women and those with different ethnic backgrounds to have a chance in popular Hollywood movies and television shows. Now, guys, let me just stop here quick about this whole situation between Rachel and her view of Paramount. Now, we know that Paramount, and this needs to be said, they too support the whole DEI nonsense. They actually pushed out a whole message about that. This is not a secret, alright? There may very well be just up there with Disney, but not quite to that level. But at the very least, they have mixed content. That's why I keep saying that all of these Hollywood studios, it's like a slow turn of the tide, right? You got studios like Paramount that have a couple of hit and misses. They have both, woke content that pushes all this DEI agenda nonsense, but they also have content like South Park that really kind of seemingly goes against it in certain areas. I know some of you out there were very much let down about the ending of South Park. Numerous people felt like they really just went so easy on Kathleen Kennedy at the very end and kind of made her seem like she was resolved or redeemed, and how she was going to begin making good movies, stuff like that. People were upset about that view because that's just not realistic. Kathleen Kennedy would never do that in my book. Obviously she has made it very clear just days ago that she is going to continue to push all of this DEI nonsense into The Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, the Rey Star Wars movie, if that even happens, which I doubt it will, by the way, and other films out there related to Star Wars. Now, about Rachel Zegler, It's not a big surprise that this is how she feels. The fact that she is preparing a direct statement to throw at Paramount and South Park Studios about her being offended about their parody and their usage of parody of the concepts of swapping, of race and gender in film and television like that. And I think it just goes to show you that Mark Webb is just someone that really has no thoughts of his own. It seems like he just kind of goes with whatever the actress of Rachel Zegler's thinking, and that's just, you know, another flaw about this movie, is that you have a terrible director on board that really has no care in the world about anything. Now that brings us to the next thing here. Apart from Webb and what he delivered, Greta Gerwig, the writer of Snow White, stepped in, stating, "Having worked on Barbie myself and Rachel found what Paramount did about their portrayal of how Hollywood works was absolutely disgusting and offensive behavior as well. I think Rachel is going to teach the naysayers a lesson, and once she can say what she wants to say about studios like them making others opposed to strong female-led roles to be established in film and television. Rachel had an important phone call with me, and I can confirm that her message is going to be a very powerful one that stands for all women with different backgrounds to take this opportunity without feeling ashamed. It's in my best interest to allow Rachel to hold the confidence in calling out studios like Paramount that did such an awful thing to our society. And we will keep everyone updated as we move closer to Rachel getting the opportunity to put studios like this in the hot seat." Now, again, Greta Gerwig, totally agenda-driven. I never was a fan of her as a writer or anything like that. And look, yes, we know that Barbie made a lot of money, alright? But we also know that it had a lot of agendas that were being pushed behind it, that Greta Gerwig just shoved into the actual film, that was not included in the marketing on purpose. Can you count how many times they mentioned the patriarchy in that movie? It's ridiculous. I don't know if you guys saw it, but they said it, like, constantly. It would never stop. The thing about Greta Gerwig, the fact that she is the writer of Snow White, I think is enough to say that this movie is going to be an abomination. Now, yes, we know that it was delayed until 2025, and that's going to give them a lot of time to really rethink their marketing strategy, how to get this thing to make a lot of money. It's not going to work, in my opinion. There's nothing you can do. But this just goes to show you, confirmation by Greta and Mark, that Rachel is really going to slam Paramount about their usage of South Park and what they did with joining the Panderverse. It goes to show you as well, those affiliated with Disney, alright, or have been affiliated with Disney, are really, you know, just not in touch with reality at all. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, South Park got it right. You know, sure, they may have went a little easy on Kathleen Kennedy in certain areas, I will agree on that, but they did send the message out of what she has been doing to the current status of Hollywood, at least within Lucasfilm. So overall, I would really love to hear what you all have to say about this ongoing fiasco between Disney and South Park. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.